When I first got involved with safety, I remember thinking, how do you cover that much information with everybody? And then I learned about Safety Toolbox Talks. Safety Toolbox Talks are a great way to cover a lot of topics throughout the entire year and have it in a consistent format that's easy to understand, and people actually look forward to the meetings. You heard me right. People can actually look forward to these meetings. So let me unpack what it is, and I specifically want to tell you 5 steps to do a better safety toolbox talk than the average manager. So every single month, I send out a packet. And I send out a packet that has a weekly safety talk for each week, right? So in the month of October, we've got electrical safety, then PPE footwear, then first aid, then ladders. And I mentioned at the bottom that October is Protect Your Hearing Month. That way you can post this on the bulletin board. You can post the weekly topics on the bulletin board. And it's a way to kind of keep safety top of mind. It's a really easy format. You print out the packet. Ideally, you print it out in color. That catches people's attention a little bit better. And if you print it out front and back, you'll notice that the topic is on one side and the roster is on the other. That way, it's all contained in the same unit. Now, the very first recommendation I would make is break your groups into groups of 12 or fewer employees per safety talk. So what I'm saying is, if you got a company with 100 people, you're going to break it down so that each crew leader or each supervisor is providing a safety toolbox meeting to their crew. That way you don't have 50 people standing around trying to listen to one person talk. You want to break it into a small group of people that can actually listen and hear and ask questions. So once you've done that and you've kind of broken it down, then you're going to train your crew leaders to do the following. The first thing is they need to review the topic before they start talking about it. So some people will literally just read what is on the form, and that's okay, but it's not ideal, right? Nobody wants to sit there and listen to somebody read a handout to them. So ideally, you go over it ahead of time. You find the certain points that are specific to your facility and relevant to your people, and you highlight those points. And so if we're talking about electrical wiring, we can focus on the fact that we don't want to use extension cords as permanent wiring. And we can also talk about how we don't want any damaged cords or broken insulation or the head of the plug pulled away from the cord. So these are some things we can look at. We can talk about how we're going to inspect the cords, and we're going to use them just for temporary use, and we're going to take them off the floor if they're broken or damaged. That's it. Once you've done that and you've communicated it, that's part of it. So you want to review the topic ahead of time, kind of pull out the top things you want to cover, even highlight them. That's what I would do. I would take the handout and I'd highlight, hey, these are the issues that really matter, and I'm going to talk about these issues with my crew as I'm training them. So the very first step, review the topic. Step number 2, standing meeting. Now this has a double meaning to it. Standing meeting means we're going to hold this training the same time every week. So let's say we do it on Tuesday mornings after break. Okay? We're going to do it on Tuesday mornings after break. We're going to have a regular safety meeting every Tuesday after the break. This is just an example, but I've seen it work really well. You want to have just a regular time every week. This is when we do it. The meeting's only going to last 5 to 7 minutes, and it's literally going to be standing, meaning we got people that are standing up, standing around a workstation, standing around the table, standing around the lockers, and the person delivering the meeting, they got the handout in their hand. They're saying, hey, we're talking about electrical extension cords. Here's some things to keep in mind, guys. I want you to be looking out for the cords in your work area. It's a way to just clearly have consistent safety meetings. Again, if you got one of these every week, you're going to cover 52 different topics in a year. And the way it's designed is every quarter we hit the important ones. So we're going to be hitting lockout, tagout. We're going to be hitting personal protective equipment. We're going to be hitting chemical safety. every single quarter. That way we're hitting the important stuff throughout the year more than once. Now, this third step, use a clipboard. Don't go in there with just a piece of paper flapping in the wind. We want to have a clipboard with a pen. That way people can sign off that they were in that meeting. So, clipboard, we got the roster. Again, the topic is on one side. We print it out. The roster's on the other. So you can literally go over the topic, put it on the clipboard, hand it around, everybody signs off. Or you can print out a couple different copies of the training and have it passed around and then go over and have them sign off on the clipboard. But the roster is going to have the name of the topic that we covered, the name of the trainer, whoever's delivering the talk, and then the signature of the trainer and the date at the top. Pretty straightforward. Have a clipboard, though. It makes life a lot easier. From there, the fourth one is we don't want this to just be a sit down or stand and just look at people and kind of wait for it to be over. We want this to be a discussion. We want people to be talking. We want people to be thinking. So when we're talking about electrical extension cords, someone might think of a problem they had with a fire extinguisher last week. See, the purpose of this is to have a safety meeting, not just a delivery. So when we're talking about extension cords, if somebody goes, hey, you know what? I noticed that fire extinguisher over there is sitting on the floor. We probably should put that up. Yes, good. Encourage positive discussion. Encourage questions, right? We want people to ask questions. Hey, I noticed you were talking about the extension cords. What do we do when we have to do this job? What about portable fans? What about, can we get some of those rollers that like the cord rolls down, the reels that come down from the ceiling? All those things are positive discussions that you can have. The purpose of a safety meeting is to get people thinking about safety. Let me say that again because that's important, okay? And sometimes people miss it. The importance of these meetings isn't to get names on a sheet to check off a box. We want to have these meetings so people are actually thinking about safety and making the place better. That's the whole reason we're doing this. So make sure we are promoting positive discussion. Now, I put positive in there because we don't want a bunch of people complaining, right? People will do that. They'll get on a soapbox and they'll start complaining and complaining and complaining. We are trying to move in the right direction. So promote the positive discussions. Try to snuff out all the negativity you can. And the last one, put it in the binder. Make sure that you take that clipboard, you take that roster, and you are actually putting it in the binder or the file cabinet so that you can track these meetings. Remember, these are training records. These are training documents. So if you ever have an OSHA inspection, they come in and say, hey, when's the last time you talked about electrical cords? Boom, right here. We know we talked about it. We have a list of all the topics we covered, and this one was covered back in October. Here's all the sign-off sheets. Here's the content that was covered. That counts as a formal safety training event. And again, we're using the information that we gain to put in work orders, to fix problems, to improve areas that need improvement. So all the things we've talked about today, apply them, use them. If you can't do all of them, pick one and just make it happen. Again, buy a clipboard, have it ready to go. Safety Toolbox are a great way to have consistent safety training across your whole organization. They are a great way to get people involved, and they're the next step to making your place a safe place to work. So until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.